Hey guys, so if you're looking to start a podcast, you came to the right place. I'm going to show you everything from how I record, all the equipment I use. I'm also going to go over what hosting site I use, how to get your podcast to iTunes, how you can monetize your podcast, what the heck is a hosting site and why do you need it, an RSS feed, also podcast artwork, and just everything from start to finish. Also, I'm giving away a microphone. This is one of mine, and I ordered one for one of you guys who's going to win my giveaway. So definitely check out the info bar down below. So there's a lot to cover. Let's go ahead and get started. I actually have two podcasts. One I launched in April just to kind of get my feet wet and see how to do it. It's called This Week, and it's just a very chatty podcast where I just ramble about current events and my life. But the second podcast that I've been kind of working on forever is called It Happened One Night, and this is my short story podcast series that's very inspired by the Twilight Zone, and I'm actually launching it today. So if you like the Twilight Zone, you might like some of my short stories, but anyway, I'll put those down below. So the first thing you need when you start a podcast is what is your niche or what is your theme? Obviously, you guys have probably already planned out what you want to talk about in your podcast. So the next thing I'm just going to jump to is equipment. So I actually use a couple different microphones, and I also use a few different editing softwares. You could just use one. I use GarageBand also on my laptop, and that's like the quickest, easiest, fastest, way to go about that. I also like GarageBand because there's a place where you can actually pop in your artwork, and it just makes everything so simple. However, when I record my podcast episodes, I use Logic, and I'm still kind of learning Logic because I'm new to it, but that's where I mostly record my podcasts, but I've also done it on my laptop, which is also really handy about having one of these microphones because this will plug right into your computer, so that's just very quick and convenient. And the other microphone I use is an Audio-Technica AT4040, and I'll plug that into a Motu 808 audio interface. And I'm also going to link everything down below in the description bar, so check that out. And for my Twilight Zone themed podcast, I actually have been using Final Cut Pro a little bit for this, Final Cut Pro X, and I know that's a video software editing, vibe. That's a video software editor, but I've been actually more comfortable with that than Logic. I'm still learning Logic, but I will just drop in sound effects and stuff in there and add my music tracks and everything in there and just export it as a MP3 file, so you're just getting an audio file. And I also like to use Final Cut Pro also just because I'll just throw in my artwork on top of my audio track, and then that way I can go ahead and send it off as a video when I'm done and upload it to YouTube, because I have my own YouTube channel just for that podcast alone. And as far as hosting, I've been liking to use Spreaker, and Spreaker is free for up to like 5 hours. Once you surpass 5 hours, you have to go pro, and it's really not that expensive. I'm just on like the beginner level program, like the very, very basic pro account, and you could upgrade your account anytime, or you could just go ahead and take it off. So once you export your audio file as an MP3, I like to just upload that file straight to Spreaker, and it'll just go to your RSS feed. And once you get your podcast set up on Spreaker, you can add your category. You can also add like any tag keywords that you want to add. Spreaker is where I also uploaded my podcast artwork. So once you upload it to your show, it's there and you don't have to keep re-uploading it. And I actually have both of my podcasts through Spreaker. Also, the thing I like about Spreaker is it's very shareable. Once you upload your audio file and you want to make it published, you can just go ahead and share it to Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, like all over the place. Alright, so once you have your podcast up on your hosting site, possibly Spreaker because I just think it's easy and convenient and super quick, you can actually go over to your RSS feed and get that link. Just copy it, and what you want to do is go to iTunes Connect, and once you're on that website, you can just send your podcast over with that link, and it takes like 1 day to possibly 2 weeks for iTunes to approve a podcast. So if you're looking for a specific launch date, like I was with my Twilight Zone themed podcast, I wanted to do it a little bit early just to make sure it would go up on that specific date. So you might consider that as well if you're looking to launch your podcast on a specific date. I actually uploaded like a preview for my podcast too, so that way it was already on iTunes and I could just go ahead and announce that the first episode was going to be up today, July 18th. Yeah. So again, I use Spreaker, and they actually have a revenue sharing program, which means once you go pro, you're able to monetize your podcast. So they'll play an ad before or at the end of your podcast. There's also a visual ad too that will sometimes pop up. So once you go through those steps of monetizing, you have to add like your bank account to Spreaker, and then that way you'll get paid straight to your bank account, or however method you choose to get paid. But it's really cool, and the limit is like $10. So once you exceed over $10, then you just start getting paid. So other than ads just playing on your podcast, there's also several other things you can do. I'm going to link some articles down below that I found online that were very, very helpful. You could also have a Patreon page, you could do sponsorships, and there's so much more. But yeah, this is how I do my podcasting, and I just think this is really quick and simple and easy to do, and anyone can do this. This is what works for me, so hopefully it'll work for you. Because I've seen other tutorials and other ways of how to start a podcast, but I honestly feel like my way is the best way because it's just so fast. But yeah, again, I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Please subscribe if you aren't already, because I like to put out tip videos every once in a while like this. I upload videos every single week. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you found it helpful. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Alright, bye!